Okay, we're going to cover the teaching progression of the squat. We're going to teach this in two parts. One's going to be without the bar. We're going to teach her the bottom position of squat and what it should feel like without the bar. Then we're going to go to the bar, get the bottom position in the squat correct with the bar, and then we're going to start loading the weight and look for a proper weight to put on the bar for starting a program. So something that we don't get too heavy and not too light, but just the proper weight to start a program. So Angie, I want you to take a stance with your feet shoulder width apart. Good. And toes slightly out. Good. Good. So we should take a line and draw it from the heels, and it should go right directly up from her heels to the outside of her shoulder, and that'd be a pretty good starting spot for the bottom of the squat. I want you to place your hands together, bend forward at the waist, put your elbows on the inside of your knees, shove your knees out and squat down. Good. What we're looking at when she's in the bottom of the squat is the weight should be on the middle of the foot, right in this area. We don't want to see the weight on the toes, we don't want to see the weight on the heels, but you should feel the weight directly in the middle of your foot. Right? As we come up the leg, we're going to look at the femur, this bone right here in the upper leg. We're going to look at the femur and make sure that it's in line and pointing the exact same direction of the toes. What we don't want to see is it outside of the toes too far or inside of the toes. So it should be in a straight line with the toes. The next thing we're going to look at on the side is make sure the crease of the hip, that's where the pants and the shorts bunch up right here, the crease of the hip is below the top of the knee. If you come up a little higher, that would not be the proper depth of squat. So that's not a squat. That's something short of a squat. So we're going to make sure this crease of the hip goes below the top of the knee. The back is neutral. The head's looking straight forward. So everything's in a good line. Go ahead and stand up. So we're going to do that now again without shoving your knees out with your arms. So you're going to have to do that with your mind, okay? So place your hands out in front, shove your knees out and squat back down. Good. Again, what we're seeing is the weight's on the middle of the foot. It's not on the front, not on the back. The crease of the hip is below the top of the knee, and the femurs are pointing in the same direction of the toes. That's a good bottom position of the squat. Go ahead and stand up. So now we're going to do a set of 5 with the bar. So I want you to walk up to the bar. You're going to take a grip on the bar with your thumbs around in a grip as narrow as you can to the shoulders, but still be comfortable. So we're going to have her start right here on just the inside neural mark right there. Grab the bar, thumbs around. Good. You're going to duck under the bar. Place the bar high on your traps. Good. Right up there on the top of the muscle on the traps. Go ahead and stand up and step backwards. Good. So we're going to take that same stance that we had. We're going to place our feet shoulder width apart at our heels, and toes are slightly out. Good. So the only thing different between the squat we just did and this squat, a couple things, is one, we have a bar on our back. We don't have our hands to shove our knees out, so we have to do that with our mind. And we're going to go down to the bottom of the squat and come right back up without stopping. Okay? So I want you to look straight forward on the floor out there about, 10, 12 feet. Take a great big deep breath. Squat down and stand back up. Good. What we're looking for again is to make sure that the weight stays on the middle of the foot. Big deep breath. Squat. The knees are staying in line with the toes, pointing the same direction. Again, great big deep breath. Squat. Good. And 2 more. Great big deep breath. Squat. And we're making sure that the crease of the hip goes below the top of the knee. Good. And they all look good. Walk it back in the rack. Good. That's a good set of squats. So what we're going to do now is kind of show you how we would find the weight for a starting program. So we're going to add some weight to the bar. And what we're looking for is a weight that offers just enough challenge that she starts to get stronger, but not enough that her form starts to break down. So it's a nice medium set of 5 reps. And we're just going to work that by trial and error. We're going to put some weight on the bar and check her squat. So we're going to go to about 95 pounds here. Good. Go ahead. Walk up to the bar. Take the same grip on the bar. Good. Place the bar higher in your traps. Good. Step up. Good. Walk backwards. She's going to take the same stance, feet are shoulder width apart, toes are slightly out. She's going to fix her eyes out in front, about 10, 12 feet on the floor. She's going to take a great big deep breath, shove your knees out and squat. Good. Again, watching for depth. Make sure the crease of the hip goes below the top of the knee. Knees are in line with the femurs. and walk it in the rack. All right. So when we're looking for a starting weight, what we're going to see, we're going to keep adding weight on here, and what we're looking for is for the bar speed on a set of these squats just to start to slow down. So if we're going to start watching, so I want you to see her first 2 or 3 reps should go down and come up at the exact same speed, and what we may see when we get to the proper weight is we're going to see the rep 3 and 4s just start to slow down a little bit. They're not going to come up quite as fast. So let's go another, about 10 pounds. Good. And she's going to do another set of 5. Places the bar higher in her traps. Good. Stands up. Good. Steps back. Gets her feet in position, shoulder width apart, toes are slightly out. Fixes her eyes on the floor, takes a great big deep breath. Good. Squat. Good. So let's watch to see if any of these reps look different from the other in speed. They should all look about the same. Good. Good. So all 5 of those reps looked about exactly the same. Is that 5?
Yes, sir.
Good. Rack it. Good. We'll go another 5 or 10 pounds. Keep going up slowly. Please. And after a short rest, we're going to do another set of 5. You ready? Let's go. So here we go. Good. So again, as a coach, what we're looking for is just a little slow down of the bar at some point during this set. Big deep breath. Good. Spot. Good. 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 There's 3. 2 more. Good. And 1 more. And there's the bar slowing down. Go ahead and rack it. So we notice the difference in speed between the 1st and the 5th rep. That is exactly the weight we would use to start a program. So that's about 135 pounds, 60 kilos. So she would do a short rest, do 2 more sets of 5 there, and that would be the starting weight of where she would start. Okay, we're going to cover the competition squat for the powerlifting meet, and we're going to go over the rules. I'm going to explain them real fast so everybody knows what to expect. The squat is, there's going to be a few commands on the squat. There's going to be a judge standing directly in front of the person on the platform that's getting ready to squat. There's going to be a judge directly to one side and directly on the other side. You're going to take commands from the judge that's in the front, standing directly in front of you. The commands on the squat are squat and rack. So you're going to hear 2 commands from the head judge. They're going to tell you to squat and to rack. So we're going to go through exactly what it'll look like, and then at the end, I'll show you some of the problems you're going to come up that are going to make it a bad lift, okay? So I'm going to take a seat here. So the judge is going to tell you when it's your turn that the platform is yours. That means you can come up, the bar's been loaded, and you're ready to go. So go ahead, platform's yours. Squat. Rack. Okay, so what you saw was 2 commands, a squat and a rack, and she couldn't do any of those before the judge told her. So when the platform's yours, you walk up, the bar's all loaded with your weight, you're going to take the bar out of the rack, you're going to step back, and you're going to get yourself positioned for the squat and ready to go, and you're going to do nothing. You got to wait for somebody, the head judge, to tell you exactly what to do. So once you're set, flat on the platform, the judge is going to tell you with his hand up in the air, or she's going to tell you to squat. You're going to squat down, stand back up, and you cannot move You can't lean forward. You can't move your feet until that judge tells you to rack the bar. As soon as the judge tells you to rack the bar, you're going to rack the bar. There's going to be a box with 3 white lights and 3 red lights. As long as you do all that correctly, they're going to give you 3 white lights after you rack the bar, all right? So some things they're looking for. The side judges are looking for depth. They're going to make sure that you go deep enough in the squat. And we're going to show here in just a second what deep enough is. They're also going to make sure that you don't step forward before the head judge tells you to rack. And they're going to make sure that you're kind of standing upright before you start. So you're not going to be able to be bent forward when you start the squat, okay? So a couple things. She's going to get the platform is yours. I'm going to go through what we're looking for, and we'll do some mistakes here that's going to happen. Go ahead, platform's yours. Head judge is sitting in front with her hand up or his hand up. She's going to take the bar out of the rack. Good. Now, when the head judge sees that you're set, you're going to look up, acknowledge the head judge. The head judge is going to tell you to squat. Now, once I say squat, if she does anything now, go ahead and move your feet a little bit. If you move your feet after the command of squat, that's now a red light. All 3 red lights will come on, and you're going to be done. You're going to have to rack the bar, and that's going to count as 1 attempt. You only have 3 attempts, okay? So again, if you get the command squat and you move your feet, it's going to be red lighted. So once this command of squat is given, right? So the command of squat is given, squat. She's going to squat down and squat high and back up. Good. So what we saw there is the crease of the hip did not go below the top of the knee. So she wasn't deep enough in the squat. You're still going to get the rack command to put the bar back in the rack, but you're going to see 3 red lights come on. And the reason you saw 3 red lights on is because the crease of the hip did not go deep enough. So let's go ahead and show a legal squat. Ready? Squat. And rack. Good. That would be another good squat, okay? So let's show it again for this side camera. Go ahead and put your feet in a squat position. So we're going to show, without a weighted bar on our back, a legal squat and a squat that's not legal based on depth. Go ahead and squat down. So the side judge here is watching. Basically what they want to see is the crease of the hip is going to be below the top of this knee, right? If you put a ball on here, it would roll back here. If we put a ball on here and it wouldn't roll back, go ahead and come up a little bit. That is too high, right? So the ball would roll this way off the top of her leg. That's not a good squat. Down a little lower. Let's come up to parallel, a little higher. Nope, a little lower. Right about there. That's called a parallel squat. If we set a ball there, it wouldn't move, right? So again, that would be an illegal squat. That would not count. She's got to go below that so that the ball would roll this way on the top of the leg. That would be a legal squat. Go ahead and come back up. So if you get the bar out of the rack, you get the squat command, you squat back down below parallel and stand back up. There's only one last thing you have to do, and that's you have to wait for the rack command. So I'll show you a red light without waiting for the rack. And this happens a lot. You get excited, you just hit a weight that you weren't sure you're going to be able to squat, and you get kind of anxious to get the bar back in the rack, and you get a red light even though you had a good squat. So this is what it would look like, a red light without getting the rack command. Ready? Squat. Rack. So see that? She started moving back before the judge told her to move back. So that would be a red light. All right? So that's the major ways, and pretty much the only ways you're going to get red lighted here is not waiting for the squat command. Wait for that head judge to tell you to squat. Not squatting below parallel. Nice deep squat. And then not waiting to get the rack command to bring the bar back to the rack. That's it.